Hello everyone, Rurikhan here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys some TERA action. Mostly just to kind of figure out also just how interested you guys are in seeing some TERA online content. And I'm also beneath what seems to be like a thundering storm right now, because there's a lot of thunder and stuff on the outside. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that on the microphone or not, but if you are listening to something weird, that is what it is. So anyways, as you can see here, I was playing a warrior, and what we're doing here is the Bastion of Lok instance. This is post-commentary, simply because I'm not very comfortable playing TERA while commenting just yet. So one of the things I would like to first introduce you guys is where exactly am I playing? Why am I playing a warrior? What's going on? Why am I not playing a lancer? As I've kind of mentioned in a previous video, that I would most likely be playing a lancer. So what happened was I started a lancer in a European server, right? And basically at the time I didn't know of any of my friends that were interested in the least in this game. So I'm just playing randomly in a European server, and then I was talking to Vex about it, and Vex told me, oh, I bought like this thing, but apparently it's for US, not really Europe. And I was like, well, if I go to US, there's also the possibility of playing with side strafe. So I'm thinking, you know, okay, so I'll go to US, I'll figure out which one is side strafe server, join that server, all that stuff. But then side strafe told me that the character he was playing was a lancer, and I was like, oh, so I can't make a lancer, I guess I'll make a healer. So I started making a healer, and I was like, no, I can't play a healer, because I just don't like the way healers play in this game. Like, I didn't even get out of the starter zone, I just got bored of it. So I was like, so if I'm not going to make a lancer, I want to do a character that can also tank, but the only thing that's really left is the warrior. So I started playing with the warrior, and a lot of people basically said, oh, warrior is harder to tank, and it's really hard, and people don't like warriors tanking, and blah, 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 blah. And what is my conclusion to all that stuff that people were talking about warriors? Warrior is not really that hard to tank. I mean, as you guys can see here, I'm tanking, but the problem is, in this particular video, the people that are with me, I noticed that they're pretty much overpowered, as far as I can tell, because I mean, stuff is dying really, really fast. Like, I've done this instance a whole bunch of times, and this was the one time where stuff just died really fast. Like, I think the guy that's got the sword, I think he's a slayer. Again, I'm not very knowledgeable of TERA as of yet. I just recently started playing it because of it becoming free to play. I played during the beta though, so this was not the first time I was in this dungeon. I've done this dungeon in the beta as well. So this lancer dude seems to be making ridiculous amounts of damage. The berserker that's over here, which is the little chick with the axe, she's also doing tons of damage, and I'm going to assume that whoever is in the back, which I'm not sure if it's an archer or some kind of mage. I think it's some kind of a mage. Or is it an archer? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's an archer actually. And the archer is probably reasonably geared, because stuff was just going down really, really fast, as you can see here. And it's like tanking for this group was not really even tanking, because people were just running ahead and just pulling stuff. Like, it didn't even matter who was the tank in this group. But the thing that I wanted to say about warriors tanking is that it is in fact not hard at all to tank with warriors, unlike what most people will tell you. The thing that you need to focus on is that warriors need to constantly be evade rolling your enemies, like, which is what I do when you see me do the little dive to the floor and then rolling. That's a dodge, and while you're doing that animation, you're invincible, kind of like Dark Souls in a way. So it's obviously a mechanic that I can really appreciate. So I get how the mechanic works, I get how warrior tanking is supposed to work, but the main issue that I have is that since I'm playing in the United States servers, what happens is I get some ping, and you will notice sometimes that, like, I should be pressing a skill and nothing happens on my character. Like, my character's just standing there still. When that happens, I'm actually spamming a skill and it's just not coming off, because, I mean, there's not huge latency issues for me, but even the slightest bit of ping when you're trying to tank as a warrior is a problem. It's like I'm saying, it's not hard to tank as a warrior. What's hard to do is to manage your ping. Like, if you have high ping, it becomes harder to tank as a warrior. Like, there were actually several times that I've done this instance while I was tanking, and I actually took a lot more damage than I should, simply because I would press the dodge button and it would take him like 0.2 seconds longer to dodge than normal, and that's enough for you to take a swing to the face, and it's going to hurt a lot, because unlike the Lancer, who is clad in heavy armor, the Warrior is using leather armor. Also, by the way, don't make fun of my pink armor, because I still don't know how to goddamn dye in this game. I mean, dye armors for proper colors, because like I picked up this armor, it's the best armor I could have at the time, and it was pink, okay? It's not my fault, okay? Don't judge me. But anyways, what are my thoughts overall about the game? I mean, the problem with this game is, like I said, it's really, really grinding. Like, outside of instances, I have to say the game is not that much fun unless you're, like, trying to solo a BAM or something, which, in case you don't know, stands for Big Ass Monster. I killed a BAM. I soloed him with my Warrior. I was even just, like, fully spec'd for DPS. I wasn't even spec'd for tanking, because the things about Warrior tanking is that it focuses a lot on you dodging stuff. So if you're dodging stuff and stuff is not actually hitting you, you don't even need to, like, be using your real tanking abilities for threat and whatnot. You just use abilities that do damage and dodge stuff. So I killed a BAM like that. It was Insolent Kuma, whatever. And it wasn't even that hard. It was pretty simple, but it's kind of cool. That's the cool stuff about TERA, is killing BAMs and doing instances. That's the kind of stuff I like. Also, this boss is really cool. He's actually harder than the final boss in the match, because he's a lot more unpredictable, because sometimes you can't even figure out if you're like in front of him or behind him, because he's just so big, and you know, it's a cool boss. This is a really cool boss in my opinion, and I like the fact that he's pretty challenging. Although, in this instance, the concept of challenging is pretty irrelevant, kind of, so to speak, because, I mean, like I said, anyone even can tank this instance. It doesn't need to be a Warrior, it doesn't need to be a Lancer. Anyone can tank this. It's like, just get her 5 people. You don't even have to get 5 people. I've done this instance with 4 people, and I was tanking, so, and it's not really that hard. In case you're wondering how I'm doing the tanking on the Warrior, at this level, which is level 23, the only 2 skills that I'm really mostly using is the skill that you see there, that is the E button, which is called, I believe, the Torrent of Blows, I think? Torrent of Blows? Yeah, Torrent of Blows. And then the other skill, which is called Rain of Blows. Now that I'm thinking about those names, they're actually pretty fun. It's like, it's the Torrent of Blows, and the Rain of Blows, and, you know, and stuff blows. But yeah, there's the Torrent of Blows and the Rain of Blows, and what they do is the Torrent of Blows is a skill more for me to get aggro AoE, and also single target, whereas the Rain of Blows is a skill that while you're doing Rain of Blows, you receive 30% less damage, so it's kind of a skill that you can do when you're expecting to take a little bit of damage from mobs or whatnot. You can just, you know, pull up Torrent of Blows. If you're not going to be able to dodge it, might as well take less damage on it. There's also another skill, I don't remember the name, it's Rising something. Rising Star, maybe it's Rising Blow, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember the name of that skill. But there's Rising Blow, I'll use it every now and then, but the thing about Rising Blow is that it's really only effective when you're low on health, because the damage increases the lower your health is, but you also take less 20% damage while you're casting it, so it's still a pretty useful skill. Other skills that I have here that I use is also the Pound skill, which is when you see my character jump up with both swords and then just stab people as he's falling down. It's kind of a cool little skill. I'm trying to use it almost like a charge type of thing. And then there's another skill that poisons your enemies, and after you do your dodge roll, it also enables you to use a skill that, again, I don't remember the name. I just don't remember the names of the skills. I think it's the Vortex Swing? Let's see if I do it. Vortex Slash, that's it. And that skill is also pretty useful, because since you're dodging as you're getting up from your dodge roll, you can do that particular skill, and it's pretty good. Does a lot of damage and a lot of AoE damage as well. As you can see, I do a lot of that dodging stuff. So, but anyways, as I was saying earlier, I said Warriors aren't that hard to tank. As you can see, I mean, at this level, it's kind of unfair for me to say Warriors aren't hard to tank, but I can already kind of get the mechanics of how Warriors work in TERA. So I can tell you that for the Warrior himself, it's really not that hard for you to tank. You just gotta really know when to evade. You gotta know the tells of the bosses, which is something that, again, I like, because it feels very much like Dark Souls. You need to figure out the tells of the bosses so that you can dodge them and stuff like that. So I find that stuff kind of cool. So if the warrior is not harder, as a lot of the people say, what's the problem with the warrior? And I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem with tanking as a warrior is that it requires a lot of movement from you. And to you, this is not a problem because you can just move wherever you want, keep on tanking, chase down monsters and whatnot. As you can see, you have a lot of mobility with just 2 skills right now, which is the dodge roll and the pounce. And with just those 2 skills, you can just keep on moving all over the place and you can dodge pretty much almost everything that they throw at you. And what you're not able to dodge is usually easily healed by the healer, because I mean the tank is expected to take some damage. It's just, you're just expected to be able to control how often you take that damage and how much of that damage you take. So the whole problem with it is that exactly what makes it strong on that mobility and dodging and whatnot also makes everything harder for your party. So what does this mean? It means that if you're constantly leaping around and whatnot and the boss is moving after you, that's bad because your party can't position properly. They're also not going to be as effective at dodging enemy skills because the boss is going to be moving all over the place, even though in this particular dungeon the final boss just moves all over the place by design, which is a good thing because it kind of forces the party to focus up a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure how it works for the remainder of the bosses, but like when I was fighting the BAM pretty much stayed aggro on me the whole time. It didn't move too far away from me, so to speak. So if bosses tend to go more towards that tendency, I can see where the warrior dodging kind of becomes a problem, because you're constantly moving around and you have to keep in mind that healers in this game actually have to aim their heals. And if you're jumping around constantly, it's going to be pretty a pain in the ass for the healer, like, oh man, now he's on the left, now he's on the right, he's moving all over the place. It's going to be a pain in the ass for him. It's going to be a pain in the ass for your DPS because you're jumping around, you can turn the boss might do an AoE cone ability, something like that, just beat the crap out of your party all of a sudden, nobody's expecting it. And you know, that is the problem. Its strength is also the greatest weakness towards your party, which is you have a lot of mobility and you have to use that mobility in order to effectively tank, but that particular mobility of the warrior is what's going to make it harder for you to tank for other people. Now, this being said, that's not really the reason why I'm going to stop playing a warrior in TERA, because, yeah, I am going to have to stop playing a warrior in TERA, but the reason that I'm going to stop playing a warrior in TERA is also because I'm going to leave US servers due to the ping issue that I've been talking to you guys about. I'm not sure if you guys have been paying that much attention, or if you've noticed of the issues that I have every now and then, that you'll see my character just standing still, not really doing anything, and missing some critical dodges. Like right now, you saw me just standing still there for a while. Like I was actually clicking to attack because I didn't have enough mana to cast the other thing, and it took him a while to react. And this is the kind of stuff that happens with ping, and maybe a regular player won't even notice it, but to me, I've been tanking for quite some time in World of Warcraft, and it makes a world of difference to me because it's just, I'm a min-maxer, and it's in my nature to be a min-maxer, so if my character is not responding as fast as I want, I have some really, really big problems with that. And this particular instance that you guys are watching was actually one of the ones where I had the least amount of issues with latency, because this was, since this is a US server, it's like, I don't know, 5-6 hours of difference for me. So this was really, really early for the Americans. So not a lot of people were on the server at this time, because when I played during what could be considered prime time, the lag in this instance to me is just ridiculously unbearable. Like a lot of times I even go to my girlfriend, look, are you uploading something? Are you doing anything with the internet? Because this lag is unbearable. There was even an instance I was running the other day where I just told him, let me just relog real fast and see if it fixes it, because it was terrible. Like I couldn't even see what the hell was going on. People were jumping ahead of me and I wouldn't see them there. It's just, I have latency issues because I'm playing in US servers. And like I said, the main reason I came to US servers is because Vex was I was gonna play with Vex, and possibly was gonna play with Sidestrafe. But also I've heard that US servers have better support than European servers. So, you know, everything seemed indicating you should play on US servers. So I have this level 23 character on a US server, and I'm just going to ditch it because I'm going to go back to European servers because of the ping. And since I'm going back, I'm probably never really going to play this game with either Side Strafe or Vex. What's going to happen is I'm most likely going to roll a Lancer, because even though the warrior tanking style is kind of cool, like I said, it does pose a couple of problems for your party. So the best warrior tanks are most likely going to be warrior tanks that have a set group, you know, people that they constantly play with, that are aware of how that particular warrior tanks, of his playstyle, so that they kind of can predict where he's going to dodge next. So people that play in a cohesive group are never really going to have any issues with playing with a warrior. But me, I'm probably going to be pugging it all the way up to level 60, so it's going to be a lot easier for me if I just play a Lancer. And you guys also know that I kind of like the block tank playstyle a little bit better than the evasion tank, so that's also another reason why I want to just stick and go for the Lancer. But I really just wanted to do a video today to kind of show you guys what TERA is about. For those of you who still don't know about it, this game is currently free to play. You can play it for free, and unlike a lot of other games, like in recent memory, the one that really comes to memory is SWTOR, which pretty much said, ooh, thanks. That was completely unnecessary, phone. Thanks a lot for that. But anyways, like I was saying, in SWTOR what happened was, oh yeah, we'll let you play for free, but we're also going to break your character's legs before you start playing. That was pretty much the way I felt about SWTOR's free-to-play. This game actually does not gimp you in any way that I have noticed so far, apart from the fact that obviously if you pay for it, you'll get a little bit more XP and a couple of more bonuses. And to be completely honest, if you're going to pay for it, I'm going to go ahead and advise you to go to US servers. Mostly because something that I've noticed is that US servers also were having like some kind of Valentine's Day event, so I was getting keys to open lock boxes and whatnot. And I noticed that in Europe, there wasn't really any of that. I mean, I have a character in Europe, he hasn't really received any of the... I mean, my character in the US has like 5 or 6 keys for lock boxes, and it's not even Valentine's anymore. My character in Europe was created before any of my characters in the US. He's got nothing. He's got absolutely nothing. He's received no mails, no nothing. So I was a little bit disappointed, if I'm to be completely honest. But, I mean, it's just in the long run, I know that that ping is going to really affect me. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to Europe. I'm going to be playing a Lancer. Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the warrior. I really liked playing with the warrior, and I would like to play with the warrior if I had a more consistent group, but I don't. So it's going to be a lot easier for me to pug using a Lancer, and it's going to be a lot more viable, and I can have bad healers and stuff like that. I can kind of make up for that with a Lancer, whereas with a warrior I make one mistake and it's like, oh look, it's like half of your life is gone. How do you feel about that? So yeah, but the warrior is definitely a lot of fun, and it is most definitely a viable tank. It definitely just works. And here also something happened which I never seen, which is, as you can see, the boss is a little bit glitched. Look at that. He doesn't move from there. He stays there for a long ass time. But this boss fight is actually really cool. This boss moves all over the room. You can see me dodging the special attack there. The dodging here also works just like in Dark Souls. You get a set of invincibility frames while you're dodging. So if you time your dodges right, you can just evade all of the big attacks. And I would have to say that probably in bosses that deal ridiculous amounts of damage, the warrior is most likely going to be a better tank than the Lancer. But I don't have enough knowledge of the game so far to really make that assessment. I don't know 100% that is the case. Like there, once again, you saw me blocking that attack. The warrior also has a block, but it's not as reliable as the block from the Lancer. But as you can see, I blocked it here again and did that thing. That was the thing that I wanted to do earlier, which is block and then jump behind them, but I wasn't able to do it due to ping. It just happens every now and then. But nevertheless, I mean, the thing about TERA to me that I feel is that TERA is going to be as close as I'm going to get of playing a Monster Hunter-like game in this particular generation. Because, I mean, like I said, the Monster Hunter games that I have access to are like over 4 years old, and it's really disappointing, whereas TERA looks pretty good. The only thing you have to deal with is that there's a crap ton of grinding. But like I said in the previous video as well, it's like while I'm doing questing, what I'm doing is I'm watching shows, I'm watching movies, I'm listening to media, you know, I'm doing other stuff while I'm grinding to get my mind off the grind, pretty much. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I think we're about to kill this boss here. So anyways, the thing that is really important for me right now is to get some feedback from you guys. What do you guys think? You guys want to see me do some more TERA tanking? Most likely, if I do more TERA tanking, though, it's going to be with a Lancer. Because, like I said, I'm going to switch back to European servers where I don't have the ridiculous amounts of ping that I have in the US. Oh yeah, and for those of you that want to know, I'm going to be playing on the server Arcadia. My character's name is going to be Rurikhan. He's going to be a Lancer, so if any of you guys is running like a TERA guild or something like that and you guys want me to join, just tell me in the comments or send me a message in-game, whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to TERA. Let me know if you guys want to see some more of this or not. But as a Lancer, and I do think that the Lancer might even make for some more interesting gameplay because he's got some shield slamming action going there as well, which is cool because you guys know I love me some shield slams. You got some spear action, which I also like from Monster Hunter games and stuff like that. So again, just let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Leave me your comments and feedback in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next one.